All right. Before I begin, I want to ask you all a question. How many of you here have some sort of dual identity, whether that be cultural, academic, professional, or anything you consider one? Raise your hands, please. Yeah, that's a lot of us, including myself included. I believe sincerely that like diversity and perspective stemming from that dual identity is a really valuable perspective to have because it will help us tackle like the different issues plaguing our world today and give us unique insights. And I think we should capitalize on it. And it's not only in the workplace, but in our relationships and social settings as well. Today, I'm going to tell you a story of the four identities I have and how that has shaped the person I am today. So, I am a Hindu background. I was born in India. I celebrate Indian holidays. I speak my native language, Telugu, back at home. And but at the same time, I'm also have a Western background because I grew up here. I went to all my like secondary schooling here, and particularly in college, I got used to like Western habits and lifestyles. I'm also well, I was I was pre-medical this entire time. I just found out 2 days ago that I will be going to medical school, so now I'm matriculating in the fall, which is very exciting. I feel all the stereotypes, I guess. But, thank you. But I also gained a unique perspective during my undergraduate years, a unique identity that I never thought I'd have. So I ended up majoring in religious studies, and I have a perspective of a religious studies scholar where I understand different cultures, learn about them all throughout my undergraduate years. And that's like the four main identities I'll be talking about today. I'm going to share four stories and in hopes of like promoting this idea of like how much I value diversity and perspective into collaboration and how it will like impact and how beneficial I think it is to have. So I'm going to start off by talking about my Hindu background. So all throughout my entire life, I've been surrounded by an Indian community. So I was born and raised in India. Even when I came back to the USA, I visited India every 2 to 3 years. Heck, all my friends and most of my friends and like people I hung out with were Indian. My neighborhood was literally like New Delhi because there's just sheer amount of Indians there surrounding me. Um, but that all changed when I came to UW Madison. It was a real like culture shock because I, for the first time, like there wasn't as many like people similar to me. I was the only in my freshman year dorm. I was the only Indian male on the floor, and it like changed the way of who I am. Uh, but over my time in college, I got used to that new perspective, and for lack of a better word, I became Americanized or whitewashed, or as my roommates used to call me back home, a coconut. Brown on the outside, white on the inside. So, but all jokes aside, in all seriousness, I really gained a new perspective and was forced to like learn and like as all college kids do when they like leave home, they're no longer under their parents' shadow, so they develop their own beliefs and attitudes, and that's what happened to me. Um, that's what happened to me. So, from that experience, what I learned was now I have a very diverse group of friends of all backgrounds, and I learned to keep a very open-minded perspective and like learn from those around me, as well as use my dual culture identity as a strength. I used to like all constantly battle throughout college. I'm like, oh, what do I do? Like I have like this like background growing up, but at the same time, like all my friends are doing this. I used to think it was like a struggle, but over the years, I learned to use it and capitalize it as a strength, and it has shaped like how I live my life and the values I believe, and it gave me a really like unique perspective that has really like helped me become the person I am today and foster like inner collaboration. And I think that's invaluable perspective to have to tackle the issues in our complex world today. So this brings me to my next story. So when I get sick, I am the type of person that never takes any medication because I believe in more traditional remedies like drinking turmeric milk and honey, or in milk, turmeric milk, or like honey. I never thought too much about it, but as I reflect now, I think like that's a different like type of like belief or healthcare towards healthcare than like what is typically like practiced here. And I I think it's valuable to think from that perspective because many cultures have like a similar perspective in regards to traditional forms of healthcare. Like I never thought I'd major in religious studies, but I took a course my freshman year, the first semester of college. It's called Religious Studies 101, Religion and Global Perspectives. It was basically a healthcare and religions course looking at the relationship between the two. And I learned about a group of people called Hmong people, which is a like Southeast Asian like individuals, and they have this idea where they not only want to like treat like the physical symptoms, they look at treating the mind, body, and spirit as well, and they look towards a person called a shaman to do that. And there's also this idea called the therapeutic triangle, where the shaman, the patient, and the community all have to like work together to heal the afflicted. And if any one component is out of balance, the patient doesn't get healed. So through learning about this course, I ended up getting a certificate in religious studies and then ultimately majoring in religious studies. And as I like grew and like took in more and more courses, I realized that religious studies is about more than just religion. It's a way of life. It's that impacts lifestyle, like healthcare choices, and I really gained like a lot of knowledge and like perspective of seeing how different cultures like understand, and I think that's invaluable again to like uh, when like as an aspiring clinician, especially or now future clinician, it would be like crucial to understand to help treat patients down the line and like work together with them to get them the best possible care. And this doesn't just apply to healthcare. It's like in my case it would, but I vouch this message overall. So flash forward to my senior year of college. I got the chance to do a senior thesis project combining all my interests, which are public health, religion, and healthcare. I did a project looking at a marginalized population, specifically African American women, and how the role of like faith and spirituality can be used to target like public health or healthcare issues for this population. Specifically, looking at like mind body healing tactics like journaling or meditation. I won't bore you with the details. You can really ask me about it if you really want to know afterwards. But the message I want to send is that like me, a mere broke recent college graduate, was able to do this like intercollaborative project that combined all of my interests. And if I can do it with no research funding, all of you can too. So I'm gonna end with like one last story, and this story is like, so recently I went through a tough time, and I'm still recovering from it. But I used to ask myself, I was like, why me? Why is this all happening to me? What did I ever do wrong? Because nobody wants to be sad. But I've started to realize that because of what I went through, I've emerged as a more mature person with a more diverse perspective, where I'm able to like better understand the perspective of those around me and put myself in the shoes of those around me. Because and there's like and I sincerely believe everything happens for a reason. And there's only certain periods of in your life where you experience great happiness or sadness. And it's in those times, particularly when you're sad, that you truly grow as a person and gain a very diverse perspective. And you're talking to your loved ones, those around you, and that really helps like make it better to an extent. And you collaborate with them. So I'm gonna leave you with this question. So what happens when you bring all of your different identities together and mesh them together? Well, this is what happens. You look at things differently. You diversity and change equals growth and increase. And I want to encourage all of you today to like gain a diverse perspective and like and foster collaboration in everything you do. Because if we do, we'll emerge as better people and create a better world for future generations to come and work together to solve all the issues that are plaguing us and down the line. So, thank you all.